Hey, what's up everybody? Ralph here. So today's topic, I want to share with you my thoughts how I was able to purchase my car for $10,000 cash. So just so you know that it was, when I purchased it was back in 2018, November 2018, it was a 2015 Nissan Altima. I was able to pay for that straight cash for $10,000. So I just wanted to share with you my experience doing that. Because I know a lot of days, like when it comes to purchasing vehicles, not a lot of people have the opportunity to purchase vehicle cash. And you know, most people finance it. And usually I think the average cost for financing cars is around like $400. So and that's a lot. Like when you're talking about like adding on an expense to your budget, I mean $400 a month can be a pretty large expense. And I think when a lot of people purchase cars, I know a lot of times a lot of people don't factor it in. They're like, all right, maybe I can afford this, and you know, as long as I make up the payments, and you know, this is something I can manage over time. But you know, without like really thinking about the cost overall, like for the, you know, the 5-7 years that you finance the car or lease, it comes up to a pretty large expense. And you know, if you think about it also, that the fact that the value of the car drops automatically once you drive it off the lot. So for me, when I decided to purchase my car, I was like, you know what, I'm not financing anything. I'm gonna just pay for it straight cash, because the car previously I had a lease car, and that was about $400. It was a Nissan Maxima, and that was about $400 a month. And I'm a Nissan Maxima guy, so having a downgrade to an Altima was something that I didn't want to do. But you know, sometimes when you think about your financing, you're trying to get your things in order. Making sure that you can afford a car that's within your budget is more important. So for me, when I first looked for, when I was searching for my car, at the time I didn't really have a car. I was like probably using my pop's car at the time. So you know, at the time when I was looking for a car in 2018, that's when like things got really big for me in terms of my business. That's how I was able to even come up with the cash for the car. In 2018, like my affiliate marketing online business took off, and I was able to get the money to be able to pay for that cash. So once things went well for my business, I was like, all right, it's time to get a car. And as I did my search, I saw my Nissan guys. So I looked around and I looked for Maximas. They were a little bit too expensive for the for my price range. So as I did my research, I saw that I started looking at Nissan Altimas, and I saw one for about $9,500 or $9,700, something like that, around my range, around my $10,000 budget. So my thing was like, all right, let me go take a look at this car. I know I'm not gonna go over my $10,000 budget. I'm gonna stay there, and that's really important. Like the thing you gotta understand is if you have a strict budget, when you're purchasing a car, when you're looking to purchase a car, you gotta make sure you maintain a budget. Whether you're looking at monthly costs or you're looking at the overall cost of the car. Since I was gonna pay cash because I didn't want to pay monthly for any car, I was like, my budget is $10,000, and it's important to stick with that budget, because people get caught up in the oh, I need a monthly payment that I can afford, and without really factoring their budget, how much they can afford, and just really just understanding the cost of the the vehicle overall. Interest you're gonna have to pay. But for me, I was like, $10,000 is my budget, so that's what I'm going in with. So when I did my research, I saw a car, that I liked. I was like, all right, let me go take a look at it and see what it, give it a test drive just to see what it's like. So I went to the car dealership. I saw the car, had like 60,000 miles at the time, and I was like, all right, let's give it a test drive. I test drove it with the guy. And then I was like, all right, yeah, so this is what I want. So he was like, how you willing to pay for it? And I told him cash. Now, a lot of people tell you, don't go in there, don't let dealerships know that you're going to pay for cash. But I think back in the days that used to be the case. But now, like, once you do your research on how much a car costs, I mean, there's no way that, I mean, how much, what can a dealership do? Like, we're going to bump up the price. No, it's like if you have a budget and you're like, all right, this is what I expect the car to cost. This is what I'm going in with. This is what I have. They can either say yes or no. So when I told him the cash, he said the guy that was there said he had to talk to, I guess, the owner or the person that owns the car or whatever, or the person that owns the dealership. I don't know. He just said he needed to talk to somebody. So he spoke to this guy on the phone, and then I think like 10 minutes later, he said the guy wants to talk to me. So I spoke to the guy on the phone, and he was like, all right, yeah, so I heard you want to buy the car. I was like, yeah. And so how much you looking at? I said 10,000. He's like, yeah, man, like that's a little bit, below market. I was like, and he was like, yeah, because I'm losing a lot of money if I give it to you cash. Like, so I was like, yeah, I understand. I didn't really get confrontational, and I didn't get combative. I was like, I get it, I understand. He was like, we have another car, like, I think a Volkswagen for like, whatever price. He's like, would you be cool with going with that? I was like, I'll take a look at it, but I can't guarantee that I'll buy it. So he was like, all right, yeah. So all right. So then I gave him the phone back to the guy, and then a couple minutes later he said, all right, what if we give it to you for $9,500 and then you got to handle registration? I was like, okay, how much is registration? He's like a couple $100. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I gave it back to the guy. And then the guy came back. He was like, all right, no, we'll just take the $10,000. I was like, all right, why don't you just do that? You're losing money. Like, why don't you just take the whole $10,000 and you take care of everything? So they went with the deal. They said, all right, 10,000 is good. So I just had to get a certified bank check, and then went to the bank, got the bank check, and brought it back. And they had to detail the car, make sure everything was good, do the paperwork, and I was good to go. So my experience with that was, when you're going with these car dealerships, I know for a lot of people, like, the experience of purchasing the car can be a little stressful because, you're dealing with these salespeople and they're trying to sell you something and they make it so complicated just to buy a car. But for myself, as I was going through my process of learning how to manage money better, because back in the days I used to be, obviously like all of us, like we managed, money improperly, you get into debt. But for me, I was starting my journey of really understanding how the money works and how to manage money and make sure that you don't take on debt. So I understood. I was like, you know what, I have to make sure I go in with a budget and I don't go over that budget, regardless of what they said. I was willing to lose the car if the guy was like, you know what, I don't want to go with the price, and it was cool. Like, if he had two ways to go. He could either accept the price or not accept it. I was cool either way. I just continue my search. But for me, I understood that, you know what, I can't lose. I can't go away from my budget, because I understand that's where I am right now. That's what I want. That's how far I want to go. And when I'm purchasing a car, that's how much I'm going to spend. So for me, it was like, you need to really understand is, like, you need to make sure you hold that power. You got to be not afraid to walk away, whether it's purchasing a house, whether you're dealing with, in a relation to a woman or a guy. Like, you got to be able to not be afraid to just walk away, because a lot of people get caught up in, oh, they really want something, and they show that I don't know what's the word, like, they really show the excitement for wanting something, and people see that and they take advantage of you. So you need to understand that you got to stay level-headed and make sure you understand, like, yo, I'm not going above my budget. This is what it is. You either accept it or not. And once you come in with that attitude, you have more leverage and letting them know that you're not going to be taken, or you're not going to be taken advantage of. So for me, it was like $10,000, and this is it, and that's what it is. You either accept it or you don't. And for me, it was like, I had to talk. I spoke with the guy. I said, yeah, this is what I want to do. And, I was cool with him. I didn't, like, get combative with him. Just make sure that he understands that there's no hard feelings, whether he accepts it or not. And I didn't want to make it seem like I'm taking advantage of him, like, I'm winning the deal. I just wanted him to understand that, yeah, this is my budget and I'm not going above that budget. And you can show me another vehicle, I'll look at it, but there's no guarantee that I buy it. So, these dealerships, it's at the end of the year and they want to get rid of inventory. So, it just gave me more leverage. So, and the most important thing, I wasn't afraid to walk away if he said no. So they took the $10,000, I got the cash, check, and I was able to pay for the cash. So right now, I have no note on my car. I'm not paying any monthly payments on that. And as I build up, my wealth, as I make more money, I'll upgrade once, I have available cash to buy, a more expensive car, or like a car that I like. And that's what it said. You got to make sure that if you're going to purchase a car, you got to make sure you can afford it. All right, like I said, I'm a Nissan Maxima guy, and those cars tend to be more expensive. So as I work on my business, as I build up multiple income streams, and if I have money available to buy another car, purchase cash, then that's what I'll do, because I'm no longer going to be purchasing cars. I'm not going to be leasing or finance cars. It's a complete ripoff. Not to say that you shouldn't. If that's what you can afford, that's what you do. Not everybody has just cash to be putting on cars, but for me, is that I understand how important it is to be able to, especially for an asset that depreciates in value as soon as you drive it off the lot. So I think it's really important to really, like, when it comes to managing money, you got to understand that it's important to maintain a budget. All right, whether you're buying a house, the people get really excited when they see a house that they like, and they're like, I want this house no matter what. You got to make sure that's within your budget, and as long as it's within your budget, then you want to pay for it, then do it. So that's my experience with purchasing a car cash. It was a good feeling not to have a note and just be able to, like, all right, this is what the car I want. The process was easy. Here goes the check, and you're done. All right. So that's my experience. If you guys got any questions, make sure to leave a comment down below. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to subscribe. And I think that's it. All right. So you guys take care and have a good one. Later.